Hello folks, I'm Alex, this is Marv, and today we're going to do the BookTube Dog Tag. So welcome back to the channel folks. Yes, I'm on holiday at the moment in the Cairngorms in Scotland. I have a day to myself in the cottage when my wife is out, and so Marv and I are going to do the BookTube Dog Tag. Good boy, he's just laid down next to me now, so you might not see much of him. Yeah, the original tag for this was done, I think, by Danika, Leigh, Ellis, so I will link to her channel and video in the description. And I first saw this, I think, on Michael K Vaughan's channel when he did it about his dogs or monkeys. So I will link to his video as well, which was highly amusing. I wasn't tagged in this has been around for quite a while, I think, but I thought it's the perfect one to do while I've got a bit of time, I want something easy to do, and I've got Marv here with me. So let's crack on with the prompts then, shall we? So prompt number 1, tell us about your dog. Marvin is a standard schnauzer. He's 8 years old. It's going to be 8 tomorrow, Marv. It's your birthday tomorrow. Yes, it is. Yeah, so he's going to be 8 tomorrow. That's the 14th of May. He is stubborn and a bit naughty, but he's a beautiful, beautiful boy. No, he's a very good boy, really. Aren't they all good boys? So yeah, he's a great dog to like go walking with, like in the hills, like remote places. He doesn't like other dogs. So he can be a bit reactive, so yeah, he can be a bit barky sometimes, things like that. But he loves playing ball on the beach and walking in the mountains and just generally being with his humans. So yeah, and he doesn't like his cat sister. That's the other thing. He's a horrible, horrible brother. Aren't you? Yes. So yeah, Marv is my best buddy, basically. So prompt number 2, what would be your dog's favourite book? Well, let's ask him. Marv, what's your favourite book? I think that's The Predators, which I forget the author of now, Mark Washburn, I think, and someone else. So basically it's about a death battle between a massive great white shark and a massive grizzly bear for pay-per-view. It sounds bonkers, and I think that's probably Marv's cup of tea. I think he'd probably go for bonkers books, and he loves his bear and he loves his shark. His bear is called Barry and his shark is called Steve. So I think he would probably enjoy something like that. Okay, prompt number 3 is use the first letter in book titles to spell your dog's name. Okay, so we've got M. We'll go with Misery, Stephen King. One of the few Stephen Kings that I've read that I didn't like, and I think I need to give it another go. Yes, hello Marv. I think I need to, Marvy, you stinky breath. Stop panting. Yeah, it's one of the Stephen Kings that I didn't like, but I need to give it another chance, I think. I was much younger when I read it, and it just kind of, the pacing didn't feel right to me, but I think I need to give it another chance. A is Arsenic for Tea, which is the second book in the Murder Most Unladylike series by Robin Stevens, which is kind of young adult, like middle grade sort of murder mystery, and it's kind of a cross between Agatha Christie and sort of Mallory Towers, and I read it because I thought that sounded highly amusing, the first one, Murder Most Unladylike, and it was. It's a really good fun book, and I think I picked it up because I'd followed Robin Stevens on Twitter, and she'd just been very outspoken as an LGBTQ ally, both, you know, in her own life and just in terms of how she writes her characters. And so I thought I'll give it a go, you know. And yeah, it's very entertaining, very short and very entertaining. And I think, you know, a lot of kids sort of around about the sort of 11, 12, 13 age group would enjoy it. I've gone for Ring by Koji Suzuki, which is the translation of the Japanese horror novel about the cursed videotape. I will never ever watch the film. It's way too scary for me, I think, from what I've seen of it. But I do want to read the book, so that is on my list for later in the year when I read stuff that I am a little bit nervous of reading as to whether I find them too scary or not. Excuse me, Marvin, you're a little bit of a blocker there. Come on, love, back it up. I've gone for The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett, which is one that I've got in my Audible library that I haven't started yet. And this one I picked up because I think it'd be very interesting. It sounds like a very interesting story with regarding sort of a family sort of saga and interesting sort of things to say about race. But also apparently it has a very well written transgender character in it, and so I want to read that as well. That's another reason why I want to read it. I've gone for my favourite Stephen King, which is It. Absolutely fantastic book. I've read it several times now, and it's brilliant. It always just sucks me right in, and gives me hours and hours of entertainment, especially on audiobook. And N, I've gone for Night Flyers by George R.R. Martin, which is one that I have on my TBR, on my wish list, and that's because I'm not a Game of Thrones fan. I'm not really that kind of big fantasy epic fan generally, but certainly what I tried reading the Game of Thrones series, or starting it, and just didn't get very far. It wasn't for me at all. But I want to see what I noticed that he'd written, you know, this series of short pieces, Night Flyers, short stories, science fiction, dark science fiction. So I thought, oh, actually, I'd like to see what else he's done, because I do like his kind of world building. I'm a big fan of Elden Ring. And he did a lot of the writing and the lore and stuff like that with From Software to make that game. And you can definitely see George R.R. Martin's hand in that, most definitely. So I want to see what else he's done. So those are the 6 books that spell out Marvin's name. Okay. Prompt number 4. Schnoz. Prompt number 4. What is your dog's relationship with books? He wouldn't eat them or anything like that or tear them up. He's not a chewer for things that aren't his. I think he quite likes when I just sit and read and stuff, because he can just sit with me quietly. But yeah, he's quite, you know, he likes it when we just sit with him for a long time, and I do that when I'm reading. So I think he probably quite likes books, because it means Papa sits. It means Papa sits down and chills out, and it's Marvy time. So yeah, I think he probably quite likes books in that respect. Prompt number 5 is, what's your favourite book with a dog? I think my favourite, I don't know that I've actually read a lot of books with dogs in. I'm very wary of books with dogs in, because I always have to use the doesthedogdie.com before I watch or read anything with a dog in it. I think my favourite in terms of the dog in it is probably Fairy Tale by Stephen King. Not my favourite Stephen King at all, you know, quite I think bit of a mediocre one, the most recent one. Not unenjoyable in any way, but just not what I really want from a Stephen King. But I loved the dog in it, Radar. I really liked the relationship with the dog, and just the dog in general, the dog's personality, stuff like that. You know, I really enjoyed that element of it. So, you know, I think that kind of saved it a little for me in terms of, you know, I can certainly always get behind a dog character, a lovely dog character. Question number 6, prompt number 6 rather, is find a book on your shelves with a dog on the cover. This is one that I haven't read, and this is another Stephen King, and this is Cujo. So I have it, but I haven't read it yet. And again, I'm saving that for later in the year when I do... Marvin, back up the truck, please. I'm saving that for later in the year when I do the video that I was saying about before with the ring, things that I'm a little too scared to read, or have been too scared to read, mainly because with this, again, with Cujo, it's a dog, and you know that it ain't ending well for the dog. You know, I know enough about the story to know that it's not going to be a happy story for the dog. So yeah, that one will be read in October, and I am, you know, steeling myself for it. And then prompt number 7 is find a book on your TBR, or in my case, wish list, because I don't really do TBRs until like the month before, that has the word dog in the title or has a dog in it. And this is one that I saw, I think it was Ollie of Criminolly, I think, who talked about this. And I know I've seen other people as well talk about it. But this is Thor by Wayne Smith, which is, I think, told from the perspective of a dog who, you know, is a loyal member of a family, and a threat comes into that family, and Thor can detect that threat but can't communicate, and so, you know, can't communicate that to the family. And, you know, it looks like it's quite tense, you know, quite difficult to read potentially. But I think it could be, I think that could be a really interesting way of telling a story through like the perspective of the dog. So that one is definitely on my my wish list for later in the year. The final prompt is to tag some people. I'll cop out on this as I often do, because it's been around for a while and I'm not sure who's done it, and also I'm not sure who's got dogs and stuff as well. So yeah, it's if you haven't done it and you have a pooch, then give it a crack. It's a nice little set of questions, this, even if you have to wrangle the dog at the same time. Marv's never cooperative, generally. So now he's laid down and he's nice. So sorry if this is a little chaotic, but that's not my fault. That is part and parcel of having a dog, of course. But yes, thank you very much for watching today. If you've enjoyed this video, please do consider giving it a like and subscribing for more content coming soon. I will be back with part 2 of my holiday vlog coming up on Sunday, hopefully, if I get it edited in time. And then we will be back to kind of normal service will resume in next week because I will be back at home and back on my usual sort of regular schedule and stuff. So yes, but from me and Marv, for now, that's ta-ra.